Hello, class. In this video, we'll cover Lab 2.2, the second part of exponents. If you look at problem 1, you'll see we have a to the negative 5/3. So first we want to handle the negative exponent by taking the reciprocal of our base. Our base is a, so we write 1 over a, right? 1 over a is the reciprocal of a. And we make the exponent positive, which becomes 5/3. So the directions say rewrite the expression with positive exponents only. And we've done that, right? We've rewritten this, and our exponent is positive. If we look at number 2, all right, so negative 2, a lot of times students want to flip the negative 2 or put it on the bottom. But if you think about it, negative 2 is just negative 2, right? There's no exponent touching the negative 2, so leave negative 2 where it is. The 5 doesn't move because there's no negative exponent touching the 5. There is a negative exponent touching the x, right? The x is attached to the negative 3. So we make the 3 positive and take the reciprocal of x, right? So if we have 1 over x, the reciprocal would be x over 1. So the x goes from the bottom to the top, and we make the exponent positive. But notice how the negative 2 over 5 does not move. Number 3. So now the 3 is inside the parentheses. So the 3 is going to be attached to the negative 2. The y is going to be affected by the negative 2. So we write 3 to the negative 2, y to the negative 2. To get rid of the negative exponent, we take the reciprocal of our bases. So we're going to have 1 over 3, make the exponent positive. 1 over y, make the exponent positive. And 1 over 3 simplifies to 1 over 9. And we can put this all together to end up with the result of 1 over 9y squared. Number 4. Okay, so the y we're not going to touch because it doesn't have a negative exponent, but the x and the w both have negative exponents. So the x comes down, right? So since we have x, we write 1 over x and make the negative 3 positive. And we have 1 over w, so now we write w over 1 and make the exponent positive, right? Essentially what we're saying is, if the exponent is negative, it's on the numerator, we bring it to the denominator. If the exponent's negative on the denominator, we bring it to the numerator. Number 5. Okay, so it says use properties of exponents to simplify the expression. Okay, so we have the same base, we add the exponents. Negative 6 plus 4 is negative 2. And then remember, on my tests and quizzes, we'll never have a problem where we leave the answer with a negative exponent, right? We always want to have a positive exponent. So if my base is x, we write 1 over x, make the x positive, or makes the exponent positive. All right, look at number 6. Okay, number 6, we combine the 4 and the negative 9. That gives us negative 36. The y to the negative 1/3 and y to the positive 2/3. Remember, if we have the same base, just like we did with number 5, we add the exponents. So negative 1/3 plus 2/3 equals 1/3. And here we have w to the 1, w to the negative 4. So 1 plus negative 4 is negative 3. Now remember, we can't leave our answer with a negative exponent, so the negative 36y to the 1/3 stays where it is. But the w, we flip it. We take the reciprocal of w, which is 1 over w, make the exponent positive. Number 7. Okay, look at each of these piece by piece. We have 8 over negative 2. We have the a to the negative 4 over a to the positive 4, b to the 5th over b to the negative 2. When you do 8 divided by negative 2, you have negative 4. A to the negative 4 over a to the 4, well, think of this as negative 4 minus 4, which becomes negative 8. And then we take the reciprocal to make the exponent positive, right? So a to the negative 8 is the same as 1 over a to the positive 8. B to the 5 over b to the negative 2, think of this as 5 minus a minus 2, which becomes 7. And we just left with b to the 7. That one was tricky. Number 8. Okay, so we have x to the 2/3, y to the 4th raised to the negative 3. So if we can break this up, think of this as x to the 2/3 raised to the negative 3, y to the 4 raised to the negative 3. Here we're going to multiply. So the 4 times negative 3, that's easy. That becomes negative 12. Sometimes people need a refresher with multiplication of fractions, right? 2/3 times negative 3 is negative 2. Because really, you could think of this as negative 3 over 1. So you'd have 2 times negative 3 which is negative 6, divided by 3 times 1, which gives me negative 2, right? 2/3 times negative 3 over 1 equals negative 2. And then to get rid of the negative exponents, well, the x comes down, and the exponent becomes positive, the y comes down, and the negative 12 becomes positive, and we're done. Okay? Number 9 and 10, often these do not appear on my exams, but this is good. Scientific notation is nice to know. Okay, so here we have the distance between Jupiter and Earth. So we have a really big number. We don't want to write this big number. So we want to write this number a way that's more efficient. So if I want to get rid of all these zeros, right? If I start with the decimal point and I were to kind of count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you can see they're doing it here. Looks like we moved the decimal 8 places and we end up with 9.18 times 10 to the 8. And think about it, that makes sense, right? If I took 9 and I multiplied by a really big number, that should give me a big number, right? So another way to write this big number is 9.18 times 10 to the 8, which is a big number. Okay. Then we look at number 10. All right, now we have 2.7 times 10 to the negative 5, a really, really small number. Okay, so 2.7 is going to become smaller. So when we have a negative exponent, we move the decimal to the left. Okay, when we have a positive exponent, like this 10 to the 8, we move the decimal to the right. Negative exponent, we move the decimal 5 places to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we have 0.00027. Okay, yeah, a really small number. That should do it. Thank you for watching. Just like to show a summary of all the answers that we've done. Okay, take care.